29.
28.
27.
26.
25.
24.
23.
22. 21.
20.
19.
18.
17.
16.
15.
14.
13. 12.
11.
Take.
8.
6.
6. What happened to 7?
7.
5.
4.
3.
2. 1. 0.
This almost didn't happen. And I'm using this. I hope you guys can hear me pretty well. I don't have the feedback on my voice to see how clear or how loud it is, like I do when I use the other microphone. But if you guys were to have been on my gaming channel, you would understand why I was having such a hard time with the audio on that. So, cheers to what has been a pretty messed up Monday, actually, to tell you the truth. I spent most of the day at the library up here close to use their internet to upload the videos that I shot. So I was like, well, I had one video shot, partially edited. I was like, I don't know why. So at any rate, there was something wrong upstream of me. So they were like, hey, we're working on it. The wife was here, that the technician was working on internet in the neighborhood. And I was like, oh, well, screw it. I had a bunch of stuff filmed. I had one video partly edited. And I was like, I'll just take the laptop and the charger and I'll go to the library. I'll use their internet to upload the videos as I edit them. So I really didn't get home all that long ago. So I had to sign a waiver because of the mustache. I mean, that was it. But unlike a lot of guys that go to like knife shows and venues and stuff, I actually purchased deodorant. Please, I would ask all of you to very kindly, if you can afford tickets to a knife show, you can afford deodorant. It's just all there is to it. So, yeah, I had an idea for tonight's video, for tonight's live feed. Also didn't get a notification. Well, you guys know Monday, Wednesday, I go at 7:30 p.m. Pacific. On Fridays, I go at 8:30. Mondays are iffy if I'm able to or not. Mainly because they're still doing renovation next door, and I had turned Mondays into a long filming day, but today was pretty good. Got a lot of stuff filmed. So I wanted to talk about what are your least favorite features on knives, and I don't mean like I bitch about pocket clips all the time and stuff like that, but I have some things that get done on knives that are just like, there's stuff I don't like. So what are some of yours? And I'm gonna wait and let the chat catch up and see, because there's definitely some things on knives that drive me nuts when companies do it. And was it Friday's live feed where I was in a shit mood? I don't remember. I think it was Friday. I'm not in such a bad mood today. But I had some knives that had come in and some knives I was reviewing and stuff like that, that I've looked at and I'm like, these are just things that I don't like. Late detents. That doesn't bother me as bad as some other things. But yeah, I can see that, John. But one of the things that really drives me nuts on knives is not pocket clips in general, but just like bad pocket clips or maybe bad pocket clip placement. Because there's so many knives that could be so much better if they would just modify that pocket clip. Poorly done lanyard holds. I hate lanyard holes, period. Safeties. Okay, so you did mention one that drives me nuts, which is safeties. I hate safeties on knives. If you were to go through my case, none of the knives that are in my actual case have got a safety on them. None of them. Safeties are something that I'm trying to keep that up where I want it. Safeties are one of those things that, like, if you need a safety on a knife, you probably shouldn't use a knife. You know what I mean? You're probably one of those people who are like, hey, no, give it here. You have those round nose scissors. That's what you're allowed to have. I just don't see, and CRKT is famous for it, the locks and auto lock system. Locks was bad enough because sometimes you'd bump it by accident. I had a CRKT M16T, the titanium one, and it had the locks system. LAWX or LAWK, I can't remember what it was. And it was a secondary safety. So it was a liner lock. And then it had the little thing on the back, and you'd slide it up to lock it, and slide it back, and you couldn't disengage the lock because it actually got in there and blocked the liner. But then they came out with auto locks, and I had 2 CRKTs, and I'm like, well, this is ridiculous. This is like wiping before you poop. This makes no sense. This makes 0, 0, 0 sense. It absolutely is ridiculous that you would put that on there, and it automatically locks. Like if I didn't want it to work, it's still a problem, and it actually can be a pain. CRKT has done some really, really stupid shit with knives. They really have. But yeah, safeties. Safeties is one of the ones I did. Absolutely was going to say. Spring assisted. If it's done really well, I'm not horribly opposed to it. But I usually look at spring assisted as like companies that just can't make a smooth knife will use auto, the assisted opening. The Ken Onion Speed Safe. I remember there was a time you couldn't buy a single knife from CRKT that didn't have that Ken Onion Speed Safe. There was a bunch of Kershaws that long time assisted opening was just like, why either do a full auto, like a push button auto out the side, or just say fuck it and just make a smooth enough knife you can. That's the, and a lot of people are like, oh, you just don't like lanyards, and I'm like, I don't mind a lanyard on a knife. I don't mind people putting lanyards. I'm not opposed to people putting lanyards. But that is so much more attractive than a hole in my knife. A little spot in the backspacer. You can still put a lanyard on it. But you don't ugly up what's a very attractive knife. You don't have to do that. So, yeah, lanyard holes are something I don't ever. Glass breakers, solid choice. Glass breakers suck. Especially as you start getting older. I don't know if you guys know this. I'm 48, coming up on 49 years old. It's a lot harder to keep from having a little bit of a belly roll at this age. It's much, much harder. And I still like to drink beer, eat bacon. So that actually is such a pain in the gut. And I was going to say pain in the ass, but it's a pain in the gut. And especially those ones. Those glass breakers, those are just ridiculously uncomfortable. These ones with the ball on them, nowhere near as bad. The one with the ceramic ball on the end, or I think that's carbide. I think that's a carbide bearing on the end of that. These aren't near as bad. But those sharp, pointy ones that Microtech used to use, holy crap, they're uncomfortable. So, not every knife needs a reversible clip, but I will tell you, it doesn't hurt anything to do it. That doesn't bother me. As a matter of fact, I'm really cool with doing reversible clips on knives because there are left-handed knife owners out there. I mean, we've already basically gotten to where most companies don't make left-handed versions of knives anymore. They don't, which I'm fine with because we also don't make. If you guys remember, when I was a kid, there was left-handed scissors. They had green handles. Or were they red? No, they were green. Red was right-handed, green was left-handed scissors. And there were left-handed pencils. We had them in our classrooms. There was one on one side, one on the other side of the blackboard. One was a right-handed, one was a left-handed for the left-handed kids. But a left-handed product these days, it doesn't make sense for like 10% of the population. That's why I don't understand the big thing with why we're kowtowing down to a group of people that represent 10% of the population. You guys know what I'm talking about. We're not going to talk about it like politics, but I don't think that companies should stop doing that. I think they should do it in a fashion where it's more attractive. Spartan Spartan Blade Works, they have a plate that goes in the spot where the pocket clip goes for the left hand, and it's got their logo on it, and it's done attractively, and it protects that and all that. I'm not opposed to that at all. I hate knives with bad plunge grinds. That's not really a feature of a knife. I guess it is. But yeah, stop doing that, Spyderco. You fuck up people's sharpening stones. Thumb discs. See, I'm not opposed to thumb discs. Locks are dumb because it doesn't make the actual lock stronger at all. There are some that do. I forget which company it was. I want to say was it Lion Steel? I don't remember, but they made a folding knife that had a pin that physically went through the handle and the blade, and it locked it in. It locked it in tight and hard, solid lockup on that. Thumb discs, I don't dislike thumb discs. I will say that I have found something that has bothered me on a few knives lately, and I don't have one of them here, but let me grab a knife. This one doesn't have it, but I've had a bunch of knives that the thumb stud was positioned in such a way that, like, when I would open the knife, I would hit the area of the scale, and I'm like, that's not good. Like, I will say that is that Doug Ritter, the Hogue Ritter RSK Mark 1. The thumb studs are too close, and when you rotate the blade out with the thumb stud, you hit the area of the scale. It's over there somewhere. I'll get it and show you later. But poorly placed thumb studs, absolutely. But I like thumb discs. I like thumb discs. I find them attractive, and I find them functional, and they're not much different than thumb studs. But I absolutely do like the way they look on some knives. I will say I've seen some knives that the thumb discs had to be removed to sharpen the knife. I had a CRKT that was like that. But I like thumb discs. Guys, I will get to your comments. Don't get too upset. Yeah. The problem is that a lot of people can't make a smooth knife, and so they're like, oh, we'll just assist it. And I'm like, that's not a good answer. That's not a good answer. That's not a feature of a knife. That's something wrong with a knife. Giant Mouse and their dumb, strong detents. Why is it glued shut? I love their designs, but my thumb shouldn't be numb after 3 flicks. See, I like a really stiff, heavy lock bar tension. I love it because you get a snappy action, and I got tough enough thumbs that it really doesn't bother me. That's all callous. It really doesn't bother me for a knife to have that. Never bought a knife with a glass breaker. See, I don't. Everybody's like, oh, you just want like really aggressive jimping. I was like, I'd rather just not have any jimping. To tell you the truth, 99% of knives don't need jimping. But if you're going to put it on a knife, put jimping on, at least put it on there so it's functional. Let me see. Do I have one here? I probably don't. I have an example of really good jimping. That is really good jimping. But would I have been okay with this knife not to have it? Yeah, absolutely. This knife would have been fine without jimping. I don't like jimping. I'm just going to say, if you're going to put jimping on a knife, it has to be aggressive enough to be functional. It has to work. I think the perfect jimping is on a Chris Reese Sebenza. It is right over there. Hang on. I'll show you what I'm talking about. It's not big. It's not aggressive. And I'll grab that other couple knives here so that we can talk about it. It's not big and aggressive. It doesn't look like a gear pattern. Like Elliot's jimping is huge, but it's very, very effective. It's really, really effective. But the jimping on the Sebenza is tight and small, but it's just about perfect. Like, if you look, you're not going anywhere. Like, it's It's aggressively sharp, but it's not big and over the top. If you're gonna have jimping, it needs to be functional. I think jimping is fucking ugly. I every knife I have that has jimping, I'm like, well, the jimping at least is functional. But I would have been fine without it. You know what I mean? It was like, well, in case it's slippery. I was like, if it's slippery, if you're going to use this knife in a slippery environment, maybe pick a knife that doesn't have slick handles. Maybe pick something that has micarta or some checkering like this. Now this is, okay, on this, let me show you what I was talking about. I'm talking about positioning of the thumb studs. See where that thumb stud's at? But then you see this point here? Like when you come out around, can you see where my thumb's at? As I come out around that, watch. Like I'm hitting that. I'm hitting that with my thumb. That I would have been happier if the thumb studs were moved further forward and closer to that point. I think it would have just been a little bit better. And that's that Hogue Ritter RSK. Now, if I'm just going to thumb flip it, let's try that in English. If I'm just going to thumb flick it like that, like flick it open, it's not a problem. But if I'm going to slow roll it like I typically do this knife, I hit that point. I hit that point right there. So I like thumb studs. I like thumb discs. I just don't like when they're mispositioned. Let's see. What else has everybody got? Yeah, kind of familiar. Cancel neck knives. I actually like neck knives if they're done correctly. You just probably haven't gotten a good neck knife. They're few and far between, but Murray Carter makes a really good one, but it's a full-size knife. Almost like Murray Carter makes a knife that's about the size of my Sea Snake. My Sea Snake works pretty good as a neck knife. There are some good ones out there. The problem is a lot of neck knives, they try and make them out of this really thick blade stock. They're like, oh, it's bushcraft. It's got to be really thick. And I'm like, no, it doesn't. Like, if anything, you've made it worse because now it won't cut. Just I got my first Spyderco and I was confused when it was tip. It was like this is tip down. Yeah, you can flip them. You can flip those clips. Constantine, what's up? I also don't hate tip down knives. Depending on the situation and the type of knife, I absolutely agree. Some knives are okay tip down. If I'm going to carry a knife in my hip pocket, I don't care if it's tip down. But I would absolutely prefer tip up. Thumb discs flickers broke on me. Paul Mill, hey. One more penny and you can pay for your wife's services. Thanks, Polly. Oh, I forgot to give you guys free cowbell. Here's your freebie. And then this is Polly's. This is what it sounds like when Polly's ex-wife comes back from the field. Polly's a miserable person and no one cares about him. The only reason his mother lives with him is because he lets her live there rent-free. Love you, Polly. But then I own like 4 knives. Don't tell me I missed the Flash Cutlery giveaway. Shit. It was in with the stuff. I got all the packages for the winners out except Robert Douglas because Robert didn't send me his address. Fucking Robert. Kaiser has a pin that goes through to reinforce. Poor lock bar access. That is a feature of a knife that can be really problematic. I have to say that is the only reason that I did not have a tie for first place on Knife of the Year. Because this knife, while I love this knife so much, this is that Slayback, was basically a tie for first place with the Ferrum Forge Aluris. This knife was Knife of the Year. This took first place. And it was 100%. I opened that beer and I have not taken a single drink of it. Just talking. It's 100% because I hate the lock bar access on this. Because this knife, there is no lock bar access. And if you've got big ass hands like I do, and those thumbs that look like fucking rolling pins, sometimes it's a pain in the ass to get in there to unlock that blade. Access to the lock bar is a very important thing, and you can see on this one, they had scalloped that out, and I've got really good access to that. It's so smooth. So smooth. Watch that. Once it breaks, just like Polly's penis. Like, oh no. Also not keen on front flippers. I don't like front flippers. And that's, if it's the only means of deployment, I'm probably going to be a hard no. The only knife really that's the exception to that is that Kansept Prickle. The Kansept Prickle, and I don't have it here. It's upstairs on my bedstand. This one is a front flipper, but it has a thumb stud. But the cool thing with this one is you can break it loose and roll it open with your thumb. Let's see here. Weak detent. Yeah, well, that's not really a feature. That's a poorly executed design. Chisel edges. Why not make it normal? Chiseled edges. Well, chisel ground knives. Actually, I do that for some people. I almost chisel their edges for kitchen knives because they cut better for right and left. When you establish a bias, there's reasons for that, but the majority of knives that have chiseled edges aren't done well, like Emerson. Emerson does them absolutely backwards. Or like, oh, because you're supposed to use it in reverse grip. And I'm like, I don't think so. I think they just only do it that way because they just don't know how to do it any other way. I like jimping on knives that have thumb ramps. I do too if it's functional, but I don't like, I could do without it. Like 99% of the time, I'm not doing any cutting that's so aggressive that I have to worry about slipping up and over. I'm not like knife fighting in the street where I'm going to worry about, is the knife going to slip in my hand if I hit a bone? I don't give a fuck about the jimping. I really don't, 99% of the time. Oh, there's the Kansept Prickle. There you go. Kansept Prickle. This is a good front flipper, and it has super good access to the lock bar. It's just a really attractive knife in general. Nice, strong detent on that, too. To be fair, Giant Mouse flippers use their thumb hole deployment is pretty good. It's the flipper, too much detent. Yeah, that can happen. There's several knives that actually have that. There's several companies that do that. Artisan has one. CGRB, actually, I think it's a Dylan Mallory design. I can't remember the name of it. Anyone from Canada have issues ordering fixed blades from Artisan Cutlery? You shouldn't. Are you trying to get, what are you trying to get? What fixed blade? Please tell me you're trying to get sea snakes. Oh, 2A Dave, if you're going to get some of this beer, you need to get down here this weekend. There might not be much of it left. Actually, I say that. I haven't had a beer since Wednesday. 2A Dave's here. To Adave, as my phone says it when I call him. Let's see here. Boys. Let's see here. Carter designs are awesome. What minimalist? I tried to give that knife to my daughter, and she looked at me and she went, "Ew, no." And I was like, "Wow, that's fucking bad." The minimalist, I'll show you the only cool feature that the minimalist has going for it. The one thing that this knife has going for it is it just looks amazing like this. This is the best this knife has ever looked. As long as I don't look here where I can actually see it. As long as I look at the computer, that knife is amazing looking. And then you pull the blade out and you're like, ah, yuck. It's great here. And the only reason I was going to keep it was because I thought it was pretty cool to have something that like, the only reason I was going to keep it out for live feeds was that. But yeah, that's the only cool thing it has going for it is it just completely disappears. It's amazing. It's great that way. I love it. But I have to keep gifts, so I can't make it actually disappear. Mike, I tip you, and this is how you treat me. Because that's the kind of friends we are, Polly. That's the kind of friends we are. Why? Because you're just a horrible person. I think Polly and I are going to be live on Polly's channel this Thursday. We haven't decided fully, but I think we're going to do a live feed on Polly's channel on Thursday, so you guys get an extra day to see me. That is alcohol abuse. I'm trying to get caught up. I'm way behind. Dr. True, how's it going? A little piece of your soul and possibly your anal virginity. I'm just saying. That's what it's going to cost you. Bubbles is here. Hey, Bubbles. I'm glad to see you. I hope you're feeling better. I still have got to get your knife out to you. I just wanted to make sure that you were ready for me to send it. I could have sent it out today. I was going to send you an email. Completely forgot. I'm sorry. So, I'll be here Sunday. I'll probably be filming all day Saturday. Schedule's tight. Unlike your butthole. Man, when Dave farts, it's like it's like an old person at a retiree's home just taking a deep breath in exhaustion. Like, that's what it's like. I lived in Cali for a few years. Back in Homestead, Florida. What part of Cali are you in? I was north. I am just about as south as you can go without hitting Mexico. I am as far south as I'm one exit from the border. I'm in the San Diego area. The S-35 Sea Snake, I'm hearing they ship USPS, should be okay. Yeah. Put it on my neck. I got my headphones on. And no, I don't want to put that thing on my neck. 42 peeps. Oh, guys, hit the like button. There's 42 people here. You guys haven't hit the like button? What the fuck, over? Ian Coates is here. Don't be sorry, Mike. It's all good. It goes out when it goes. No, I just wanted to make sure. I just want to make sure you're going to be able to accept it, be home and everything. You're not locked up in the nut house or anything. Just kidding. If anybody's going to be locked up in a nut house, it'd be me. You can see the border from the freeway exit. He is not exaggerating. You can see. I can walk. When we had the dog, before we put the dog to sleep, I would take the dog for a walk to the border and back. I could get to the border in 30 minutes. A 1 hour walk, I could get to the border and back. And I'm old, and the dog was old, and so it's not that far. Let's see here. Oh, there we go. So I am all caught up. Chuckles! I am all caught up. So yeah, there's a lot of features on knives. And I put this up here because I wanted to point out these knives that have these seatbelt cutters. Stop it. Seriously, stop. There is no reason to do that. The knife itself is already a seatbelt cutter. Like, that is an idiotic. That's an idiotic thing. This one had a glass breaker. I have this actual knife here still. The only reason it wasn't part of the giveaway was because it's unsafe. That knife is horribly, horribly unsafe. You don't know how many seatbelts I cut. Well, I got news for you. You ain't cutting any of them. With most of the knives that have this feature built in, you're not cutting many. SOG had a few that were okay. Jay Dizzle, what's up? They had a few. I was just kidding. I hope you weren't in the loony bin. I'd have to be careful. Like, I went to go visit some family. It was at the loony bin. I almost didn't get out. I think a seatbelt cutter and knife breaker is to make most people feel that it isn't a weapon. I think it's just ridiculous. It's you're supposed to use an Emerson to cut seatbelts. I don't think so. Wasn't that knife sold by Dan Aykroyd? I don't know if we're going to do any Cutlery Corner Network tonight. Wednesdays. Wednesdays is Cutlery Corner Network. Mondays, this was supposed to be a members-only live feed, but like I said, our internet was all jacked up until here just earlier. I was at the library uploading all the videos that I filmed and was editing and stuff there. And so that's why I missed the premiere of the video that went up today and stuff like that. But I'm like, I definitely wanted to do the live feed, but I was telling everybody in the Gilded server there was a good chance it wasn't going to happen. Somebody, you got your Steingraber Lamina, that one, his folder. I want to get to see one. So if Jay Dizzle, if you would like to send that in for review, Alex keeps telling me. I talk to Alex all the time, and he's like, "Yeah, I got to get one made up for review." He doesn't like YouTube reviews. Really, he doesn't. Like we were talking about, I was like, the world doesn't need YouTube reviewers all this time. And we were in a big group chat. He goes, "Well, except for you, Mike. I mean, I know because you do it for a living." He's like, but fuck these guys in their fucking. I was like, bro, don't hold back on my account. Let's see here. It's the only one that can yap at Heater Nation. God, fucking heater knives are horrible. Dan Aykroyd. I've tried. Have you tried the Crystal Skull vodka that Dan Aykroyd sells? It's fucking horrible. It's some of the worst vodka I've ever had. Like, no joke. We had a bottle of it, and my buddy was like, "This shit's bad," and we ran it through a Brita, and he was like, "That's way better. That is way better." 58 people here. I don't know how many likes we're at, but I definitely would appreciate it if everyone that was here would hit that like button. See how many more people we get. Let's see here. The petrified fish, the one I did today. The video you guys saw today. Do you know how hard it was not to like? I try not to. That video was filmed a while ago. It was really hard not to let the cat out of the bag and tell you guys how good it was in a live feed. I'm trying to get caught up on chats. So, caught up on chat. I cut my belt back in 2019 after a car accident with CRKT Pilar. I don't like the baby banter, and I don't like the regular banter. I assume I'm going to like the regular banter, like the full-size banter, the big one, like the big boy version. Like, Ben, make a knife for fucking normal-sized human beings. So, I will tell you guys, I have been talking with Zach from Zach in the Wild. I'm going to try and give him a call tomorrow and see what we can set up for a live feed. Maybe next week, because I think this week I want to talk to Jeremy Marsh. I really want, while I still have that custom here, I would love to have him come on, and I think you guys are going to like Jeremy. Jeremy is a great, great dude. Really, really like him. I don't like the regular banter. I need the big banter, the banter XL, like the normal human-sized banter. If you guys could do me a favor, I have got something cool. I am going to show you a quick preview of something you're going to see very soon. I got to grab it. So I have got access to a very, very, very rare showing from CRKT. There are not many of these out there. I've only seen like 2 videos. I farted and I just walked back through it and I was like, good God, what the fuck did I eat? I have got the CRKT Psych Glide Lock, and this thing is definitely interesting. I dig it, and I don't understand the reasoning behind discontinuing it, but this knife was discontinued. This knife was discontinued before it ever even really shipped. They did one run of them, and before anybody even got their knives, they were discontinued. Yeah, it didn't even last a month. This knife was on the market for about a week and a half. From everything I could find on a Wayback Machine, it uses the glide lock, so there's a button here. I did a video of it, first day in pockets. You guys are going to see it probably later this week. depending on the edit and everything and scheduling, I've got a bunch of videos that are in the stuff. I don't see an issue with this, and it was a level of they listed as a quality issue, so you can see like the knife swings out. So what you do is you slide that bolster up, and then the knife. Can I do it? The knife swings out, and then you push down and lock it in place. It's a solid lock. They've used the glide lock before. It's a decent looking blade. It's ground really well. It's comfortable. And of course, CRKT is like, nope, discontinuing it. I was like, the first CRKT that I showed any interest in, and it's discontinued. So there's a video I did about this, and I'm carrying this. So we're going to see like a full review video of this. I don't see, like, I'm trying to see what would have been the quality issue, unless it's just too good to be a CRK. Well, we had to discontinue it because it's too good to be one of our knives. You know what I mean? It is nifty. It's pretty cool. I dig it. I'm enjoying it. I'm hoping that I can figure out. I'm going to look and see if I can't find something online. See if anybody wrote an article about why it was discontinued and things like that. But I really don't see a problem with that knife. Like, I was talking with my buddy Tino, and I was like, it's not S-I-K-E. It's P-S. It's P-S-Y-C-H. Psych. Like, as in psych. Like, psych. Not S-I-K-E. So, like, I kept seeing that. And I was like, what is Ian talking about? And I was like, oh, psych. I gotcha. I don't remember, but like I was like, I'm like, the only thing I could think is that they were like, it could just be that it was too expensive to produce at that level of quality, because that's a pretty good knife. Now I don't know anything about it. Don't tell me anything. I don't know steel. I don't know what the price was. I just know a few things that I picked up, and I got that from Coyote Trails EDC. So if you guys could follow him, that would be great, because he provided this for me. That video he did got like 100,000 views. And I'm like, holy cow, the video he did about this knife. So hopefully I can cash in on some of that. But that wasn't the point. I was just really, I didn't look at how many views that video got. But that's not an unattractive knife. It's ground really well. It's got a really good feel in hand. I'm like, I don't know, but I'm going to carry it. Like I said, you guys will get to see the video about that. You'll get to see about that video probably this week. Hopefully this week. It just depends on, that's one that hasn't been edited yet. We'll have to see what the audio looks like. So, yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying. CRKT has a level of quality, and I think that this was just too high for them. But back to features on knives that I don't like. Absolutely, somebody had mentioned it. I don't like front flippers. Like, if there could be one thing that we could get rid of forever, would be the front flipper only knife. Like, absolutely, I don't like the idea of front flipper only. And like I said, every once in a while, there's an exception to that. Like that Kansept Prickle. But very, very rarely. And I still wish this had a secondary deployment method. I don't like single. I like a lot of different deployment methods. Like, if you can give me a bunch, I'm happy. I think that's one of the reasons that I like that CJRB Lago so much, is because you got the big lanyard hole, you got the button lock, you got the flipper, you can deploy it with the button. It's really, really good, in my opinion. It's probably one of the best button locks out there. Honestly, it's not like people are like, you said that was the best button lock this year, but you also then let the Beg Letter XL take first or third place in your knife of the year. I'm like, here's the thing. This is probably the best button lock on the market, with all the things like the button sits pretty flush, the stiffness of the button, the deployment, everything. But the overall knife isn't as good as the Beg Letter XL. That Beg Letter XL would have been good with any lock. Like, if it had it would have been very, very hard for that knife to not make it on the knife of the year list. So, what is this? Double-edged front flippers should be a thing. I don't like my fingers anyway. Let's see here. Ian want to donate. What's going on with Ian? What did Ian say? Guys, I have a couple knives that I'm selling for a friend. I got the Lago the other day, but for some reason it just doesn't do it for me. I think mine has a little bit of lock stick. I have to push the button down really far. No, you have to. You have to, and that's like, I love that about, like, I don't want a button lock that disengages too easily. Where's mine? Mine's around here somewhere. At any rate, I don't want a button lock that I just barely touch it and it goes. I want one that you have to push all the way. That's a security thing. That's a safety thing. I don't want to accidentally bump it, like when I get a hold of it and then disengage the lock and cut myself. I want a lock that I want a button that I got to push all the way in. I'm fine with that. Especially considering, like, as opposed to some other locking mechanisms, like this one where my thumb might be, I could disengage the lock. When I'm squeezing a frame lock, I'm actually squeezing the lock further into the blade, into the lock. So I'm like, I like it to be a little more required on that. But once you do, this thing is just, it's a broken knife. Bubbles, I want pancakes. You know what? I was just thinking that. I wasn't sure if my wife was going to be back. If I was going to be back in time for my wife to make supper. And I was like, I should just fucking come home and make some pancakes real quick because that's fast. But I came home and she had already made supper. Now I'm going to go dream about knives. Will you go do that? There are 66 of you here. How many likes? Somebody tell me. Give me a current viewer to like ratio. I'm just curious where we're at. Good night, Dr. Drew. Dr. Drew, dude. It's one of the best beers on the planet. It is so good. It's the oldest continuous running 16 likes. 56 likes. What are you talking about, Josh? I think something's wrong with you. Let me see. Other features that I wish knives... Oh, here's one, and some people are going to argue with me. See, why are some of you guys showing... Because he says 56. You guys are saying 16. Not refreshing for you. Okay, yeah. So what is this friend selling? What friend? Oh, I'll grab them here in a few minutes. Remind me, I have got a Shaw Skull prototype. The ProTech Shaw Skull prototype with the factory bead and lanyard that came with it. So, but yeah, it's definitely it's definitely a really cool knife. That's what he's selling. What was I gonna show you? Oh, double-sided pivots. I know there's a lot of people that are like, double-sided pivots are the way to go. Like, I hate single-sided pivots. They spin. I've never had a problem with single-sided pivots, even if they weren't keyed. But at this point, there's a lot of companies that are using a keyed pivot and still doing a double-sided pivot. And what happens is, if you don't get that pivot screwed in just the right way, if it happens to loosen on one side while you're tightening, messing around with it, if you don't keep it exactly the same, you can actually walk your knife out of centering. You can pull your knife off of center with a double-sided pivot. I would much rather have a single-sided pivot that's keyed and that I don't ever have to worry about accidentally loosening like that side versus that side. That side's the one with the hardware, that side's without. I absolutely hate double-sided pivots. One of my favorite knives has got it, and when you take it apart, if you happen to I put enough red Loctite. Once I got it centered, I put it all together. I got it centered. I made sure that the one side didn't come loose, and I just picked the side that I was going to disassemble it from. And I Loctited, I red Loctited that other screw to the point where there's no chance it's ever coming out. Like you'd have to drill it out. Like there's just no way. And so I definitely don't like double-sided pivots. I would much rather have a good, well-done single-sided pivot. Even like Ferrum Forge, the boys over at Ferrum Forge, they didn't double-side their pivots. Their pivots were always single-sided. Let me grab one. So you can see their pivot was just a solid piece. It was milled out of a solid piece. It came on that side, and then the screw was on this side. People were like, well, you can't take it apart. You absolutely can. What you do is you open up the knife, you put the knife in your hand like this, and you put some tension with your thumb across the back side of the knife, and you like basically bend down on it, and then you can take your screw out. It's not hard. I've done it so many times on these knives. And what's this? Hope you're doing stellar. Trying to get my beard as epic as yours. Huge-mungus. Humongous. I hate double-keyed pivots. That's why I only spiders Yojimbo. But I don't care about that. That's your grail. What is it? This? You trying to get a Ferrum Forge Fortis? These aren't keyed. I've taken this knife apart so many times. I don't have a problem with it. Typically what I'll do is I'll get it against my ribs. I'll have it open, and I'll just get it up against my ribs like this. I put a little tension on it, and then just unscrew it, and it's not a single problem. Not at all. This thing is amazing. This is probably one of my favorite knives of all time. It doesn't get pocket time. For the 100% because I can't ever replace this. And I can't ever refinish that. I could never duplicate the finish on that blade. So I just couldn't. Here's a thing on knives that you get every once in a while, and I understand it, but I absolutely don't like it. And it is, where are we at here? Fucking proprietary hardware. I don't know where the tool is for this anymore. Like, if I had to take this knife apart, I'd be fucked. I think I want to reach out to We Knife Company and talk to them and see, could I possibly get some normal fucking screws for this to replace those proprietary? Because what it is, it's a reverse star. And I have no idea where the tool for this is. In the move, I think it got fucking lost. So I can't take this knife apart ever again. Like, if I need to replace something on it, I'm fucked. They don't even make this knife anymore. Oh, well, since you're talking about it, Mr. Mungus. Mr. Hugh Mungus. There it is right there. What was this? Everything about my... A tiny thin wall socket might work. I don't think so. I honestly don't. These are ridiculous. And the hardware for it, to purchase the hardware for it, that's how cold it is out here, guys. Like, that is just condensation. It is 57 degrees in my studio right now because I had the garage door open. So there's condensation for me holding that on these knives. I'm literally wearing a sweatshirt and another pair of polypropylene long johns underneath because it's chilly out here tonight. I do this for you guys. I mean, I'd be out here anyway. You've got that tool. I mean, I have some somewhere. Yeah, is it 30 degrees in your house, Ian? See, I get that every time. Oh, what are you complaining about? It's 57. It's 30 in Michigan. Yeah, I guarantee it's not 57 in your house, though, is it? I'm inside. Like, there's no heat in the garage in my studio. So when I say it's 57 degrees, I don't mean it's 57 degrees outside. It's 43 degrees outside. It's 57 degrees in here with me in here. The studio lights are helping a little bit, but like that drives me nuts when you guys say, "Well, so what? It's 57. So what?" I was like, I just said it's 57 in my studio. God damn it! I say it all the time. I'm only responsible for what I say, not what you fucking hear. How is it 37 in Arizona? It gets cold as fuck in the desert, bro. I'm gonna tell you right now. I used to go camping outside of Benson, Arizona, out near Tombstone area. Bro, you go out in the desert at night, it would be a day like today. It would be like 50, 60 degrees, and it will drop down and be cold as shit in the desert. Ask Bubbles, he knows. Love the fuss cutlery background. Well, we were talking about stuff, and since I knew that this had one of these, which I find ridiculous, we're talking about features we don't like. You should be thankful for the extra 15 degrees. Yeah, I am. Like, it's cold outside. It is. I gotta. Yeah, that's the other thing. Like that. There's a huge temperature shift at night. California people are like, "Oh, so what?" I was like, California is definitely a desert. It'll go from 80, 90 degrees and down into the 60s at night. It'll be 90 degrees at 4 p.m. and then that cool breeze comes in off the ocean and it drops down to like 50 degrees at night. Like I said, it's not minus 35 in your house. 54 people. Yeah. Ollie, you go follow Polly. Somebody put a link to Polly's channel up. Polly's a good friend of mine. He's got a food channel. Like I said, we're going to do a live feed. I think it's inside. I'm inside. It's like 50 degrees in here. Once again, responsible for what I say, not what you hear, you fucking brain dead idiot. You got hit in the head one too many times. It's... I can't really see it now. It's in the 50s. Do you ever think you'll move back to Ohio? I don't know. Maybe after the wife and I retire. But I think after we're all done and the kids grown and shit, we might move back to Japan. I would love that. The wife would love that. I don't have a problem with it. There you go. Polly's channel, Purple Heart Barbecue. Go follow him. He does a lot of really cool videos. Polly's entertaining. Polly's entertaining if he is hard to look at. It's like, fuck, it's difficult to look at. Or Zora asshole. That's my buddy Zorro. He's one of my paying members. Zorro, don't put Polly in timeout. Polly gets a pass. Polly gets a pass, Zorro. It's 66 degrees in my house, and my dick is small and gray. Well, that has nothing to do with the temperature. Yes, my wife is Japanese. My wife is Japanese. I met my wife when I was stationed there. I'm not what you would call a handsome man. No, you're not. You look like one of those pinheads from the circus. But no, there's other features on knives that I don't like. One of them is inadequate sharpening choils. That's not. I mean, that's a feature. That's a poorly executed feature. You know how we talked about lock stick. Lock stick's another thing I hate on a knife. As much as I love this knife, I had to open that choil up. I did a choil on that. And I told Ramon I did it. I was like, bro, the knife's great, but the choil needed to be a little bigger. And I've had to do that with a few. I had to do that with a few knives, including this one, just to open it up enough that you could sharpen it without getting into a thicker part of the steel, or like on Spyderco's where you wind up hitting that really, really sharp plunge. Japan would be cool, but no guns and probably no knife. I carry knives all the time in Japan. My father-in-law tells me I'm an idiot, but I'll go out in town like carrying this, and like he's like, you get arrested. I was like, I carried the whole time I ever lived in Japan like the 13 years I lived there, I always carried a knife. Never once did I get in trouble. Thinking about getting a 229? No. God, fuck. I'm a big guy, but a 229? No. 229's big. This is the Ultramar Redención, the Ultramar Street, it's the mini Redención. This is the shrunk down one. I actually like this. The 228, 229 versions have got the full length pocket clip that's rounded, and they're bigger. I like this better. I thought I wanted a 228 or a 229 for a lot of years, and I got this one in trade, and I had an opportunity to get the other one, the larger one. I was like, you know what? I don't think I want one. I think I like this a lot. Finger choils and large sharpening choils are a front to everything in the world. Oh, you like fucking your stones up. Okay, Brett. Okay, Braden. I am going to continue. I told you I was going to continue to mispronounce your name. Okay. But I'm going to tell you right now, as a sharpener, as a knife sharpener, I absolutely have to have a sharpening choil. Stones that way. Why would I want to go to South Africa? I can buy South African knives here. Will Boss is here. Yoko's here. I was trying to get my sister-in-law to join in on Friday's live feed because it was Saturday there, and she was like, because she's trying to learn English, and I like to mess with my sister-in-law. My sister-in-law is an amazing person. She had throat cancer here not too long ago and lost a bunch of weight and everything. But she's trying to, she wasn't fat. She's really skinny now. She was pretty skinny to begin with. But she's trying to learn English. I was like, well, you should come on my live feed. And I was like, I'll send you an invite. She was like, oh, like, let me on the live feed. I was like, okay, I'll send you an invite. She's like, oh, no, never mind. There you go. Only people that don't use their knives don't like choils. Facts. Every knife I've designed has a choil. I like them because you can get up on it better and give yourself a fucking Polly. Polly likes to try to push. I'm not putting that one up. I'll read it though, Polly. I can always tell when I read his comments because it's just like he sees my eyes. I'm like, I can't read that out loud. If there isn't a sharpening choil on a knife, yeah, I use diamond files or my grinder because I have a knife grinder. I just put some choils on a couple knives for a guy with my buddy's Dremel, and I was like, I'm never doing that again. Absolutely not doing it again with the Dremel. It's so much easier with an actual grinder than it is with a Dremel. So, look, you save your request for access to somebody's Instagram for Instagram. God damn it. Oh, we're just messing with you. We're just messing with you. It's okay. Everyone can have an opinion. Even if yours is wrong, it's okay. It's okay. A bad feature is saying knives are American made while they're manufactured in China. Yes, I would say M3 Tactical Tech absolutely has some splaining to do. They absolutely do. I personally like a finger choil, and I'll show you why. That's one of the things I always loved about Elliot's knives. I can hold it in the regular position. Like, this would be something that would just be in front to you. So I can hold it like that. But if I want to get up on it, because it completely changes the leverage. It completely changes the amount of leverage you have by getting up on it. And I can get all the way in there, and I can definitely push a lot more pressure behind the blade of the knife. I can do it from here. But when you get up on it, it changes your angle that you're cutting at, and it definitely is a thing. Yeah, that's got green on it too. That looks cool as shit. Shut up, Polly. I'm not intentionally not following Zorro. I just didn't realize that was his account when he started texting me. Barbecue Man, go make some ribs. I hate finger choils. Just bring the edge closer to the handle. You can get up on it without having to wrap a free. No. If you have hands my size, you cannot. I'm telling you right now, I can't. That's why I like finger choils. You wear triple XL gloves, you cannot. You can't just get your finger up on that edge right there and be able to do it properly without getting cut. Like, that's why I disagree. And I told that to John Gray. John Gray was like, you do it without finger choil. And I was like, John, shake hands with me. And I was like, shake it. He was like, I was like, you see the size of my fingers? He's like, yeah. I was like, you're not, I can't use that little area up on there. Like, that's great. Don't buy knives with choils. There's more for me. I'm just telling you why I like them. You don't have to agree with me. I'm just saying, like, don't try to tell me like, oh, you can do it this. I can't. I honestly can't. That's why I buy knives with choils. Or I install them. Mike's got all pro dick beaters. Yeah. I got these fucking, these big monster mitts. Fucking, my buddy's girlfriend's always like, his hands are so big. Do you think he's like, and I'm like, he's like, you're eventually just going to have to show it to my girlfriend. And I was like, no, we're not. I'm not doing that. Okay, well, let's agree to disagree, because you're not going to change my mind. I love finger choils. You're not going to change my mind. It's just going to turn into an argument, and then I'm like, well, guess what? Blocked you, I win. So, I mean, that's like... Mike, I know y'all messing with me. I work lots around netting, rope, woven choils. Yeah, they do, if you don't know how to know where the edge of your knife starts. Like, I know where the edge of my knife starts. I do all kinds of cut tests and stuff like that. I don't ever, like, start in the... I start in the edge of my knife as opposed to the choil. I don't need a state-approved guardian. I was kidding. I'm just kidding. No, I'm not kidding. Let's see here. The Hobbit's here. Hey, Nico, what was that knife you posted? I didn't get a chance to ask you. What was that knife you posted in the Gilded server? You didn't tell us what it was. You just posted it up. What is that knife? That is an original Ferrum Forge Archbishop. This was the one-off. This one was never even made it to their website. I purchased this directly from Elliot. This was the one they did in. These were the ones they did in-house. So they built these. God, it's so good. Even look at those. So good. Such a good knife. I have misplaced a Ferrum Forge. Somehow, some way, I have taken a Ferrum Forge knife and misplaced it. There it is. Features I don't like on knives. I'm trying to find something. I'm trying to see if there's anything in my case that has features I don't like. I'll tell you a feature I do like a lot is using that area around the pivot just to put a little pop of color on it. Is that the one they also did a run of Lefty on, Mike? They didn't get around to it. They were going to. And then there was just too many questions about country of origin and stuff like that. And so Kevin, Lefty, he pulled out, which is good. If you've seen him, like, he should always pull out. We don't need anyone else that ugly. Like, hopefully Lefty's pull-out game is really on point, because that dude's ugly. That dude looks like like if you look at Lefty, Kevin looks like somebody put a pumpkin on top of a refrigerator. This is what he looks like. It's like, Jesus Christ, I don't know which I'd rather have, $1 million or his head full of nickels. Y'all can go tell him I said that because it's funny. I have a feature that I don't like on knives. And it's these, like, this thing is attractive, it's cool, and it's over the top, and it's nuts. But fucking that many holes and shit in a fucking knife? Ridiculous. This knife almost doesn't exist, though. I do have to admit. What are we laughing at, Phil? Good night, Alice. Alice, I am sorry. I have not built that GoFundMe yet. I've been so stupid busy. I apologize. I will get it done. I will get it done. I need you to just send me a DM tomorrow to remind me, and I will set that up for you. If you guys don't know, Alice had a tree fall and hit her house. It did significant damage, and I was going to set up a GoFundMe. I did one for Tough Thumbs for Jeff when he had the flood, when his shop got flooded out. Alice and her boyfriend, they just moved into that place. And I just want to try and get a GoFundMe set up for them so that they can try and do some of the repairs. I know money's tight for everybody, but I think it would be a good idea. So, yeah, I don't like that many holes. This knife is really cool. Elijah was a fucking genius, and I love him, and I miss him. He was a great, great friend. But the fact is, this looks like it belongs in a Bond villain's hand. You know what I mean? Like a Bond villain, like, put it in his eye. You know what I mean? Oh, that's what I figured. I just didn't know. I just didn't know which one we were talking about. The pull-out game or his head full of nickels. Whoa. The Eschaton is rad, Yoko. I do like it too, for what it is. I've sharpened a few of these. I'll tell you right now, there was some unhappy people like, it's going to cost how much? And I'm like, yeah, it's going to cost you a bit. And they're like, well, why? And I was like, fucking look at it. Like there's a reason you're sending it to me. Also, I was talking about the Ferrum Forge, not Kevin and the M3 Tactical thing. Oh, they absolutely made lefty knives. Oh, Jesus. Yes, Ferrum Forge was really famous for making a run of knives, and you could order a left-handed one. If you did the pre-order, you could order it left-handed. Absolutely, you're right. My buddy Tino has a ton of Ferrum Forge lefty knives, and they would absolutely make them. Yeah, he's got a big old nugget, bro. Yeah, he does. He does. He's got a big old head. So, yeah, Ferrum Forge used to make left-handed knives. They would absolutely just get a whole run of knives, and they were set aside, and they would do those last. So they'd do the full run of knives, and then they would clean everything up, because all the machines, like all the processes, had to be reversed. So all of their little jigs for drilling had to be reversed. All their, like, the way they did their radius for the lock bar on the blade, because they ground all that stuff by hand. So every one of the Ferrum Forge knives, the lock and marriage and everything was done by hand by them in the shop. If you look, that's got early lockup. Solid. I've smacked the back of this. Never has this failed. That thing has got so much life left in that lock, and they ground all their knives, all those locks, and it doesn't look like it's really touching, but it's actually kind of far in there. If you were to look from the angle I'm at, it's kind of hard. Yeah, our buddy Matt, he lucked out. He's got a ton of left-handed Ferrum Forge knives. I still have to do. We have got to do a video at Matt's house. It's just gonna be like a day or two of me shooting. I've got to figure it out with him. Like I need to be able to go over on a Saturday and a Sunday, and we're just gonna film his collection. And he has a massive collection. You guys know I've got a big collection of knives. Matt has got a room. No joke. Matt has. I can't say anything. I have an entire garage full of knives. Matt has an entire room that's just full of knives. Lefty is this England driving? What's this? $6 or $10 per pack in England, but you only get 10? Well, I got news for you. Fuck England. There's a reason we fucking left. That's all I gotta say. My bad, Jeff. Sorry, just saying. We do need to pick a day. Me, you, and Tino. And just lay all of our knives out on the carpet out here, on the rug out here in the garage. And just videotape it. And like just point out what our favorites are. Because there's no way we could, like we would basically, the day would be spent laying them out, and then we'd be able to just go through, this is my Ferrum Forge whatever, this is my my NTAC, this is what, this is this. We would have to do it like that, and it still would be a 30-minute video, even if we went that fast through the collections. The England meme today in the server was, I didn't get to spend any time in the server. I got a huge ingrown hair on my neck over here. I didn't get to spend any time in the server. I just basically dropped off a thing. I will tell you guys something that did happen. Allow me to show dashboard. I'm trying to pull this up so you guys can see it too. Analytics. So the subscriber count. So if you're here and you're not subscribed, I would absolutely appreciate it if you would subscribe. There's 49 of you here. Absolutely would love if everybody that would come into these would subscribe. I do know it's a pain because not everybody has an account, but we hit 10,600. But that wasn't the big thing. I got like 10 or 11,000 views in the last 48 hours. So if it wasn't posted in our channel, it doesn't matter. Oh yeah, that's right. I built a channel for you guys. It's actually just a chat room. Can I be the poor kid watching you rich kids play with your awesome toys? Yes, you absolutely can. Damn, I want some jazz cabbage right now. I do too. But unfortunately, I have packed everything up for tonight. Give me a second, guys. I'll be right back. I'm going to go grab the other beer. I got 2 beers in the refrigerator for me. I'll be right back. Hang on just a second. Talk amongst yourself. Just take me a second. Okay. I absolutely have something kind of serious. Oh, I probably should have waited. Okay. I absolutely should have brought this up sooner. I don't want to forget this. I want you guys to all do me a favor. You guys know that I talk with Jeremy over at the Quartering occasionally. Jeremy is also the owner of Coffee Brand Coffee. Jeremy got banned and kicked off of he got kicked off of Twitter. Now, I'm not trying to tell you guys to do anything other than I would greatly appreciate it. Jeremy's done a lot to help the channel out. He's shouted me out a couple times on Instagram. and I'm sorry, on Twitter, and it was a big push of subscribers. He got me a ton of subscribers, more than anyone ever has for a shout out, and he's got some of the best coffee on the market. So if you go to Coffee Brand Coffee and use my affiliate link or my coupon code Crazy Sharp, all one word, all caps, just Crazy Sharp, all one word, and just try some of his coffee. You will not, I'm going to tell you right now, you will not be disappointed. Some of the best coffee that's out there. I love all of it. And so the reason I'm saying this is people are like, so what, he's banned on Twitter. You got to remember, he can't publicize his videos for his YouTube channel, which are his primary business. And he also can't do anything talking about sales for coffee on his channel, like coffee stuff, because he's banned. So basically that advertising that he was doing on Twitter, he can't do right now. So if you could do me a favor and go over to Coffee Brand Coffee when you get a chance and check out the I saw that somebody had ordered some. Check out the coffee. They've got a lot of kinds of my favorite. Like, this is odd because I don't like flavored coffee, but they do have they absolutely do have some of the best coffee. I don't like flavored coffee. Their French toast coffee is absolutely amazing. I typically don't like flavored coffee. It's really, really amazing. If you use my affiliate link, you're helping support both the channel and Jeremy. Because here's the deal. I could have easily gotten a 10% with a, if you guys purchased my coffee, it would have just been regular price and I gotten 10%. But I wanted you guys to save 5%. I gave up 5% of the overall money that I make on Coffee Brand Coffee by getting a 5% discount for you guys. So I get you guys 5% off the coffee. You're supporting Jeremy. You're helping him. Jeremy got banned. He retweeted a picture of Eliza Blue. I really don't know who she is or any of that. But what happened was Jeremy retweeted a picture. And it was a picture that was taken from a video that was on YouTube that was published and produced by World Star Hip Hop. And the Eliza Blue said that it was a private photo and that it needed to be taken down, and he got banned for it. And I'm like, how the fuck? That's a publicly available photo. That was not a private photo. It's not like Jeremy went somewhere, took a picture of her, and then posted it up, or someone else did. It was a screenshot from a YouTube music video that's on World Star Hip Hop, and it's still viewable now. And the other bullshit thing is the link to the video got flagged as well, and I'm like, that's bullshit. Yeah, and so I think it's bullshit. Like, if you do want to go, like, go the hashtag free the quartering is trending. But like I said, in the big scope of things, the reason that I heard him talking about and things like that is he can't advertise his product for his coffee company on Twitter right now. So it's the hill he's willing to die on. He is refusing to take down the picture. So if you go, they got tea, coffee, cocoa, all kinds of stuff. So go check it out. Like I said, use my coupon code Crazy Sharp, or you can go and get one of my affiliate. You can use the affiliate link. It's built in that way. But yeah, it is really good. I just drank a bunch. I almost finished a bag of eggnog this week. It's not my favorite, but it's something they sent me because they were almost out of stock. And they're like, hey, here you go. You want to try it so you can talk about it. So, yeah, but CBD is just like, that's just relaxing. It doesn't really have any THC. He does have tea. He has several different types of tea. They also have cold brew bags and stuff like that. But, you know, hey, I had told him that I was going to talk about it in my live feed. I was hoping we'd have more people here. I did have more people here. I could have easily talked about it when we had like 60 or 70 people in here instead of 45. But yeah, I would appreciate it because it supports the channel and it supports him. He gets the lion's share of it. I only get 5% of your order. But I set it up that way so you get 5%. So there's still a 10% off the top of the order, but you save 5%. I make 5%. Let me go grab my giggle glass. I'll grab the electric saxophone. Oh, guys, I have those Dahlstrong stones, and they come with a wooden base. And it had gotten so wet, and it was starting to look shitty. And so I steel wooled it really good, and I coated it really good with tung oil. And I did it out here in the studio, and I forgot tung oil. It fucking stinks. I don't know if you know that. So the entire garage smells like it. And my wife was like, that stinks. And I was like, well, I can't help it. I have a solution. So agreed on the tea thing. Okay. I like tea. Like if I'm wanting to relax, I like tea. But for my day-to-day, I love coffee. Coffee is something I just can't do without. I will drink a cup of tea occasionally when I just want to relax. I will drink tea. Every once in a while, I drink coffee. I'll get heartburn real bad. And that usually lasts like a day or two. So I will absolutely drink tea. But if we go to eat somewhere, if they have green tea, if we go to a Japanese restaurant, oh, I'm all over it. I love green tea with my meal. So good. Green tea, good green tea, the stuff that my wife brings back from Japan, is amazing. Dave, I'm going to have you try green tea when you come down next time. It's amazing. It's really, really good. Well, you don't like caffeine. But you can ask Nico. Nico's had the green tea here at my house, and it's really good. Here we go. It didn't get all the way to temperature. So, I'm not a fan of iced tea. I like Earl Grey. Earl Grey tea is really good. And I like English breakfast tea. Those are my two favorites. I like Earl Grey because it's got that hint. And I'm not going to lie, I was a big Star Trek geek in high school. Nice thing about being as big as I am, people are like, hey, Star Trek, Star Wars geek. And I'm like, yeah, you got a fucking problem with it? People are like, no, absolutely not. And so it did heat up. It hadn't got all the way to temperature. So absolutely, I had never tried Earl Grey tea. I'd tried a bunch of tea until I watched Star Trek The Next Generation when I was in high school. I tried Earl Grey tea, and I fucking love it. It is really good. No, you don't put, no. Earl Grey, tiny bit of honey, and a little bit of wine. That's how you drink Earl Grey. Mike, you're like black tea in the morning, high on caffeine. No, I do. I absolutely love I love green tea in the morning. I like the English breakfast tea. It's really good. And like I said, I love Earl. Now, I will put milk into English breakfast tea, but I will not put it in. Earl Grey. Earl Grey has already got that citrusy flavor. It's fine by itself. It needs no milk. If you're putting milk in Earl Grey, you're some kind of heathen. Let's see this time. Does it? There we go. That's what it was. I tried English breakfast tea when I visited England. Other than melting the enamel off my teeth, it was awesome. It's good. I like English breakfast tea. So, what are some features on knives that you guys really, really love? What is your favorite? Okay, what's your favorite deployment method? Because I'm gonna tell you mine. by far, is that gravity knife. The Exo gravity knife, just that. That is the best deployment on any knife ever. Like, ever. And after that, it's just a regular flipper. I love a regular flipper, and then thumb stud, and then aperture, like a hole only, and after that is front flipper, back flipper. Are you literally just trying to piss me off? Like, is that what you're trying to do here? Are you trying to irritate me? Like, everything you say just sounds like something that would make me angry. I will tell you, I have forgotten how much I like button locks. I forgot how much I like button locks. Like, I knew that was coming. I love a good button lock. The problem was, here's the thing. There was some button locks out there, but there weren't a lot of really good ones. And they were like really expensive if you could get a good one. Fucking Christ, I hate Emerson's. Not my fault your tastes suck. That stuff smells amazing. You want to lose that wrench? Jesus. It's got foggy out here. I think I should turn that off. Jesus Christ. I don't like the I will tell you, I don't like the actual wave feature. I don't like the extra wave. I'm just kidding. I don't like the actual Emerson wave feature. I don't. But I do like knives that work that way. And I have several cold steels that work like that. I don't have them here. They're put away. I put away all those big cold steel folders. There's a closet. Or I'm sorry, there's a cupboard above our bathroom, upstairs bathroom, that is really high, and my wife doesn't use it for anything. And she was like, you can't have knives in the house. So I have an entire milk crate full of knives on the top shelf, pushed into the back where she can't see it. Because I ran out of room in the garage. I'm not going to lie. Like, this is a no joke. Like, she would be pissed. And I don't know. I've got the microphone right here. Why do I feel like this makes it louder? Like this, like I can lean in and whisper like this. Like, what the fuck is wrong with me? This is my microphone. At any rate, so she would be pissed because she swore up and down I wasn't allowed. I could carry knives upstairs, like on my bedstand. Like, if there's a knife in my pocket, I can put it there. But in her defense, like, there was not, Nico has seen it. My little buddy, the Hobbit, has seen it. There was not a horizontal surface in that house that we owned that did not have a knife laying on it. Like, you could not look anywhere. They were on the microwave. They were on the toaster oven. They were on the top of the refrigerator door. They were on the counter. They were on the kitchen table, the dining room, or the coffee table. They were on the TV stand. They were on fucking the end table in between the two couches. They were fucking everywhere. She's like, when we got here and when we realized that we could park outside, and I told her, I was like, okay, I'm going to build a studio out here for this. She's like, okay, all your knives here. And I was like, huh? She's like, no knives in the house. I'm like, but she's like, no knives in the house. I was like, okay, I guess. Hobbit, you're taking his side. The chat, come on now, help me out. No, he's not going to help you. That's my little buddy. He always is going to have my back. Always. He might even be riding on my back. Who knows? Like, hop on like a backpack, little buddy. Let's go. It's crowded at this knife show. We got to get through here. I remember last time we went to the knife show in Portland. Nico got so fucking drunk that his ass was throwing up in the kitchen sink. And then he rode the porcelain bus. He drove that porcelain bus all fucking night. Like all night. At one point, I had to go to the bathroom. I was drunk, but I stopped and I didn't get too drunk. He got into that moonshine I had brought. And he's in the bathroom, and I was like, oh, I gotta fucking take a piss. I gotta take a piss really bad. And I knocked on the door. I was like, bro, like I gotta go to the bathroom. And I was like, we're at the point where either you come out of the bathroom so I can take a piss, or I'm gonna go piss in the kitchen sink. And he's like, okay, give me a second. And I hear, and I was like, go to the sink, go to the sink. That poor little dude, the next morning, we get to the knife show, and I look at him, and he looks like a gray crayon. Like, and sweating. It was cold. It was October in Portland. It was cold. And this dude was just gray and sweaty, and I was like, oh, I think I fucking broke him. I was like, his wife's not going to let him go to knife shows with me anymore, and I can't go to knife shows without Nico, because my wife won't let me go to a knife show by myself. Not that she's afraid I'm going to cheat on her. Not that she's afraid that I'm going to buy too much stuff. She's just afraid I'm going to go to fucking jail. That's why Nico goes to knife shows with me. I'm not allowed to go by myself. It's just not happening. I gotta have my Jiminy Cricket with me, or I could wind up in, like, I've got one phone call, please answer. Like, you have got to get me out of jail. Here's the address. Like, leave your message at the beep, beep. Fuck, I only had the one call. That's what will happen. Because I have news for you. I don't like people. Like, I like you guys. Like this. At a fucking distance. Like, that's how I like people. Like this, where I can't actually see you and you're not all around me, making me crazy, making me want to swing things. I can handle having a few people around that I know really well and I like Nico and Tino and 2A Dave. But we start getting like 5 people out here in the studio. I'm like, fuck, 3 of you got to fucking go. I don't like that many. I don't like being around people. Yeah, Lynn Thompson isn't part. They basically, so here's how it worked. So I can't remember who bought Cold Steel? GSM? At any rate, GSM was like, they bought the company and they were like, they took the Lynn Thompson Special Projects catalog that had all the knives in the front and then all the weird shit in the back, like fucking swords and blowguns and hatchets and tomahawks and war hammers and fucking all that craziness, the big fucking blowguns and shit. And they were like, they folded through it and like, oh look, there's a fucking wooden stick, and they tore it in half. Like, you can have that part. That's the shit you can make. Like, that's all you. We don't give a fuck. We're not making that stuff. You want to make that shit? That's fine. And so that's why that new Lynn Thompson next project, never unarmed or never, I can't remember what it is. I haven't seen anything. I haven't seen anything from him. Here's the thing. I have to say this, and it's going to piss some people off. I imagine it will. SOG knives were so bad at one point that when GSM bought them, it was a good thing. You're like, oh, fuck, at least maybe there'll be some standard of quality. And some of their knives have gotten better. SOG knives are horrible. Do you think thin back knives have a higher chance of cutting than button lock? Oh, I'm sorry. Do you think lockback knives have a higher chance of cutting than a button lock regular locking knife? Well, if it's knife, it's going to cut. I don't think that read that again. I did get into some giggle grass. Do you think lockback knives have a higher chance of cutting than a lockback or regular locking knife? No, there's something missing. I think something's missing from that comment. I'm not sure. Oh God. Wow. So much better with that context. I mean, cutting yourself with them. No. I mean, if you know what you're doing with the knife, a lockback has probably got less of a chance on it. Like my Spyderco Police, that's like a two-handed closer. Like it really is. I think if you're not an idiot, I'm not calling you an idiot. I'm just saying if you're not an idiot, most people are not going to cut themselves with any of them. But I would say a frame lock probably has the most chance of cutting you because you absolutely have to reach across the travel of the blade. See what I'm saying? Like, you absolutely can cut yourself with a frame lock because you're across that. A button lock, you have less of a chance because you don't have to put your thumb across it. You put your thumb there, it drops shut. And then, like I said, the least chance of cutting yourself, let me grab it. That doesn't go in that case. See, I do stuff when I'm in these live feeds in a hurry, and I screw stuff up. And there's two other things I wanted to show you guys to talk about too. A lockback like this Spyderco Police model is a two-handed closer. Like I open it one-handed, but I've never closed this one-handed. I've always closed it two-handed. So I think these are probably less likely for you to cut yourself. So, yeah, that's what I was saying, Todd. We have to talk about this. Because I feel as though, I don't know how you guys, I'm going to run this by. I think that Cutlery Corner Network follows my channel, and they knew I was going to bash the knives they sent. And the one I made fun of the most when we ordered those Cutlery Corner Network knives was the Chip-Away Cutlery Woo of the Week. I think I talked the most shit about that knife of all the knives before they arrived. I talked shit about it in the live feed. And this fucking thing is amazing. I am so upset that I have to say this out loud. But this is the best goddamn $10 knife I've ever fucking seen. I sharpened it, and when I got done sharpening it, I was like, that is really sharp. I cut a bunch of cardboard with it. I have cut a bunch more cardboard with it. I handed this to my buddy Tino, and he was like, what the fuck? And I was like, yeah. It is so good. And it just says China. It doesn't even have a steel. On the box, it just said stainless steel. There's no rough spots on the handles. There's no screwed up areas. Super comfortable in hand. Nice, shallow, hollow grind on it. I can't find anything wrong. So I think Cutlery Corner Network follows my channel. They know I bag on them. They heard me bagging on this. They're like, look, we got to send this to the best Chip-Away Cutlery Woo of the Week that we have. And I was like, they fucking did. And then, well, here's on top of that, like Tino, I was telling him this and he was like, it fucking stays in the sheath. And I was like, what are you doing? He's like, I've never bought a knife from one of these fucking TV shopping channels that the sheath actually held the knife in. He's like, it's got really good retention. And I was like, yeah. He's like, you got a fucking unicorn. I was like, yeah, I fucking know. It's actually really good. Nico, when you come down, you can mess with it. It's really good. I cut cardboard with it all the time. I'm like, eventually, something's going to happen. It's probably going to chip. Like, I imagine it's just really, really hard. Like, instead of, like, the soft heat treat, what they did is they just didn't temper it. Like, they actually hardened it, but then they never tempered it. So it's probably really brittle. And I'm just going to hit just the right thing, and it's going to crack the blade or something. So I don't know what they did, Nico. But it's, like, am I recommending this knife? No. Like, not in this sheath anyway. That's my big concern. Because while the sheath has retention, there's nothing stopping it from coming out that little seam there into your leg or your hand or any of those. So I'm not recommending it in this sheath. I have to throw a caveat on it because it is really good. Dave, 2A Dave has handled it. It's really comfortable too. Like, it's really comfortable in hand. Is that a Herman? No, it's not. It's a $10 Cutlery Corner Network knife. Just saying, Cold Steel folders don't give me what I want. Some of them do. I will tell you, they all look really similar now, but when they had the higher end versions, they absolutely were great. And I know they still make some of them, but they're just not the same. They're not the same as, like, some of those big, gorgeous wood handled nickel silver bolstered folders that they had. Those things were amazing. Now they don't. They're all just fucking, basically that Grivory is FRN of a sort. It's a polymer of some sorts with some fiberglass in it. I don't think it's nylon. It's another polymer that they use. But at any rate, like, the handles are all that. They're always the same, with the exception of, like, some of them, like the Formax and shit like that. But they just kind of look cheap these days. They all look like, well, here, I'll show you. They all look like this. This is what they all look like. Every one of them looks like this. They all look like that. That's what they all look. Don't get me wrong. It's a fucking great knife. I love this knife. I go through spells where I didn't like this. I hated this knife when I first got it. It was a gift. I hated it. I'm like, this thing's trash. And then it grew on me. Kind of like a virus or a fungus. It's like athlete's foot. It grew on me. I love this knife now. A lot of it has to do with, I think that the steel was fucked up at the very edge. I think it got overheated at the very edge. It lost its temper. And then after a few sharpenings, it got it. And the other thing was it's CTS BD1. And I had to figure out what grit I wanted this at. So this is about 600, maybe 1,000 grit. If you go too high, it's a little bit slick. Spyderco. I'll buy something. Want what? I didn't like the Finwolf. I have some of their fixed blades. I have some of their rare stuff too. Like, I have the Sizu, which is a fixed blade. There's a video you guys are going to see here in the next few days that is a vintage 80s Cold Steel fixed blade. Which was amazing because I remember seeing that knife. It's so much fun. I don't want to throw it out there because then it'll be 42 people who are like, well, I don't have to watch the video. I already know what he's talking about. I'm going to keep my mouth shut on this one. But yeah, it's... I had... The first time I deployed, everyone on a deployment, like boots on ground, like fucking sailor, like a dirt sailor, a Navy of one. a fleet of one. What is it? The army of one, a fleet of one. I got a at any rate, the first time I ever did that, I got a Recon Tonto, the old school Recon Tonto. It was USA made even. It was when they still made knives here. I got one of those, and then when I deployed to Iraq the last time, no, the time before that, the next to the last time, I got a Cold Steel SRK that was issued to me. And that one got lost, and I got another SRK the last time I went. And it was also made in the United States. Those ones, and they were in carbon 5 steel. Fuck yeah, they were great. I don't know. I wish they could go back to it. I wish they could go back and use carbon V steel and make their stuff here. And they were fucking great. Those were two of the best fixed blade knives I ever owned. Were those Cold Steels made right here in California, in Ventura, which I know how to get there. It's not that far to Ventura. There's a racetrack up there. It's amazing. There's nothing Cold Steel currently sells that makes me want one over the other. Yeah, they're pretty. I'll tell you. I'll tell you one that's always a good choice, always a winner. Their AK-47 or their American Lawman. Those are amazing. If you can find either one of those, the Cold Steel AK-47 or the Cold Steel American Lawman, they're very, very similar. They are both really, really good knives. And it has the thumb disc on it that acts as a wave feature, which I like that. I absolutely like that on that knife. Tough Lock is amazing. The mini Tough Light is great. My mini Tough Light is over there. I was using it to cut up tape and shit like most people use all their knives for, but that one works really good when I'm doing packaging to send stuff out because I had to send out everybody's gift packs for the stuff they won. And so I was like cutting with it over there. But both of those are great, great knives. Great knives. I like the 80-20. I don't like the 80-15 as much. It's okay. It's a good solid knife. Yes. Yes. My buddy Tino has one. We've had it on the channel, as a matter of fact. The Camillus Cuda. I need to borrow that again. That I've had that on the channel. That's a fun one. That is a fun one. So those of you who have not seen it, Cuda. Camillus Cuda. Pull up some images. So this has been around for a while. I'm gonna pull it up for you. The Cuda has been around for a while. This is its most current iteration, but I've seen Tino's. It still works the same. So what you've got is the lock is right here. So you have to like push down and back, and the knife swings down, and you push it. Oh, that was intense fucking concentration. Let me tell you. So that's how that works, and it is really, really bad. Tino has one of the old ones. It's like I can't remember what the blade shape is on his, but yeah, they are horrible. I'll go borrow it again sometime. He has this, and then he has another one that I can't remember who made it, but it's got like a lever. It looks like the thumb safety on a 1911 Pew Pew. It looks like that, like kind of scooped out, and like you'd push down. And so your thumb drops down into this little scooped out, and you push down, and it closes the blade and opens it. And I'm like, that is ridiculous. I was like, that is ridiculous. That is an R. There's another R word for that I'm not allowed to say on YouTube. But it starts with re and ends in another word, which is tarded. That's the word. I didn't say it all at once. I can get away with that. You can say, as long as there's something in the middle, starts with, ends with. Are diamond stones needed to sharpen steels like M390, or does it just make it just makes it go faster? You can get away with it, and there are some stones that just don't have the cutting power to do stuff like that. But these days, most of the stones you're going to find are of an aluminum oxide that's hard enough to cut the carbides. Those ones that Dahlstrong sent me are corundum, which is that's what sapphires and rubies are made of, which is the second hardest substance on Earth. So they come in really close on diamond, but absolutely diamond stones are going to be faster. There's a reason my reprofiling stone is a diamond. They always feel, yeah, it's like, I told Tino that. I was like, why does it feel like I'm pushing this through clay? Like, you know, the mold, that's what it feels like. You're like, why does this feel like there's clay in there? That's absolutely what you can, like, oh God, I wish Tino was here. That's absolutely what I asked him. I was like, why does it feel like clay in there? Did you stick clay in there? What the fuck is that? Is that silly putty? Well, guess what I did a video about today? The RSK. So, hey, here's your, goddamn. You guys didn't give me any super chats. I just realized that I only got one. And it was Polly, of all fucking people. Assholes. You don't love me? I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Don't start doing it. How's everyone? Hey everyone, how's it going? Holy shit, I can't even read. Super means. Who's super means? What? Oh, he did, didn't he? I forgot about that. What's going on? Are you guys fighting again? Are you guys fighting? Please don't fight. I can't have my moderators fighting. Doesn't look good. Bro, guys, I want to talk about this. Polly talked about this. So Polly follows a barbecue channel, and this guy's like really famous. Like, he's got the channel. He's got like recipes. He's got like a shop now, like they're talking about like a TV show. So he does a live feed and he has like thousands and thousands of people in there. Apparently, check this out. Apparently one of his mods had been on Facebook and put up like something anti-Semitic and stuff like that. I'm going to tell you guys right now, if any of you guys are my mods and you're a shit person, go ahead and gracefully email me and tell me to take you off my mods list. But at any rate, this guy has no idea about it. So apparently this guy's Facebook had like some anti-Semitic stuff on it. And fucking everybody was in the chat like, can you believe he lets this guy mod for him? Like, we should boycott. And I'm like, they're trying to deplatform this dude because of shit one of his mods do. I don't know these fucking guys. They just seemed okay on the mods. They took care of stuff. They were like, hey, make me a mod. I'll take care of this. And they have. So if you ever see that shit, just know. I didn't fucking know either. So if you ever try to, if you're going to like, hey, Mike, did you know this? And I'm like, I told you guys months ago that I don't know anything about any of these fucking dudes. Like, I hang out in the Gilded server with them and shit because a lot of them are paying members. I don't fucking know them. You guys know what? I do know Polly. You know why? Polly's not a mod? Because I know Polly. Like, that's the thing. Like, ooh, I almost made a mess. That's class. I'm just saying, like, don't get, what is this? Here's another one, Mike. Thank you very much. Let's see here. Thank you. Fuck, Mike, I'm caught. No, I'm just saying, like, if you're watching one of my live feeds and one of my moderators has done something or said something somewhere that you think, I want you to think about the fact I have no fucking clue about that. We don't all live here together. We don't hang out. Well, Dave and I hang out, but I don't know if Dave's a moderator. Like, if there's an issue with something that you do in your private life, why the fuck does that matter on my live feed? I'm just asking, like, you got a problem with something that they do in their personal life? Go talk about it on their live feed. Don't talk about it on a live feed where somebody else is there. Yes, you did time Polly out. You time Polly out your first outing as a mod. I'm cool with it. Like, I just had to make sure everybody knows. I'm just playing out of the RSK. No, but definitely split a bunch of cardboard. That thing cuts really, really well. Bring it to the Bubbles channel. We can fix it. I'm talking about, like, their YouTube channel for live feeds. Bubbles, you want to tell people start following you on YouTube again? So, well, there's still 40 people here. I'm really surprised. I would say that we would keep going, but there's just one thing holding me back from that. Me and the magic knife of disappearance, we don't fucking want to. That's the difference. Like, we just don't want to do anymore. So, like, normally I would hang out longer with you guys, but the problem is I don't want to. I may, because I got to take all this. The reason I have to take all this stuff down because my wife has to come out here to lay some stuff out here in a little bit, but I may play video games. So I can't leave the studio up. My wife wants to lay some stuff out that she's got to dry. Some shit that my daughter's got to wear to some fucking shit. I don't know what it is. She wants to lay it out. So, at any rate, I may be live on my YouTube gaming channel, Crazy Sharp Games. So, all right, what are you guys fighting about? Come on now. Yeah, I am calling it. Bubbles or Haram. Man, you guys. You guys, you know the weirdest thing I ever discovered living overseas and being in the Navy? I went to a lot of foreign ports. I don't know if you guys know this because we don't have them here. And I wish we did. But every KFC that I ever went to anywhere else in the world, every KFC had Zinger burgers, which were spicy chicken sandwiches. And they were amazing. And you could get them everywhere except the United States. What is this? Hey, Mike, thanks. Let me see here. Let me ring your bell first. Hey, Mike, can I reach out to you tomorrow about setting up my YouTube channel with videos of my regrind process? You're probably better off doing that Wednesday or Thursday. I'll have more free time. I have got a lot of filming I want to try and do this week to try and get ahead. My stomach's starting to really fucking bother me. And I believe that there's a good chance that I'm going to wind up needing to get that surgery. And I just want to have, at least for the period of time that I'm in the hospital, enough stuff that I can like have an opening. And then once I'm feeling better and I can do live feeds, I'll have a colostomy bag. But once I'm up to moving around and doing that, I will start recording videos again. So I just want to try and get ahead of the game. And I want to get through this stuff so I can send it to Jared because he's got another box of stuff he wants to send to me. So I'm probably going to be pretty busy on Thursday. I filmed, just so you guys know. So I got up this morning. I got everything packed up to send off to the winners. I took my kid to school. I filmed a video before we left. I took my kid to school. I dropped everything off at the post office. I came back and I filmed 3 more videos. I realized my internet was fucked when I started to edit the first one, and I was going to upload it, and I realized my internet's fucked. So I went up to the library, started uploading the first completed edited video, and then edited the other 2, and then came back. So like I literally was home maybe 45 minutes before we started this. So yeah, I'm still able to get 3 videos done and stuff like that. So I'm gonna have a bunch of videos hopefully in the chamber as long as nothing goes wrong. So, all right, guys, it's been 2 hours. I'm out of here. I'm trying to read the chat. I got enough into the giggle grass that like I'm having a hard time keeping a coherent thought, and I'm following the chat. So it's been a lot of fun. This was one of my best Monday live feeds, I believe. Monday live feeds usually are not the best, but I had a plan coming in. We executed. We stayed on target. We stayed on track. We executed. We got it done. We had some fun. Sounds like we just played a fucking football game. So, guys, I'm out. I'll see you later. Like I said, I'm probably going to clean all this up and just play Ninja games on my PS5, or I may play God of War. I don't know yet. So, just keep an eye out if you're not subscribed to my gaming channel. If you're not subscribed to this channel, you should subscribe. So, I'll see you guys later. Where's the thing? I forgot to give you this.
They call me Cuba Pete. I'm the king of the rumba beat. When I play the maracas, I go chick chicky boom, chick chicky boom. Yes.
Chick chicky boom. Guys, I'm out. I love y'all.